Hello, welcome to another episode of Gary's Football. We're going to be talking about Super Sunday, West Ham versus Man City and Man United versus Arsenal. Bill, you being a West Ham fan, I know you was at the London Stadium. I bet you enjoyed it.
Well, I certainly enjoy watching Man City play.
That's nice of you to say.
Look, being a West Ham fan, it was a very poor performance all round, attacking, defensively. It was just a bit of a shambles, really, to be honest. Man City played very well. Don't get in the way. You can see why they're champions, and deservedly so. But yeah, West Ham were awful, absolutely awful. Just didn't get going. Something didn't seem right from the first whistle. It seemed like because the West Ham players, they gave a guard of honour to the City players to, respect.
It was a nice touch.
Yeah,
really.
nice touch.
I'm sure everyone else would agree with that.
But it seemed like it carried on throughout the whole 90 minutes as well. Like they just didn't get near Man City at all. Didn't pressure them. It was like mannequins on the training ground. Our players just didn't pressure them at all. No hardly any challenges. Like maybe Zabaleta in the first half and Cresswell put one in on Carl Walker. But apart from that, mate, just hardly anything. No passion, no fight. We win the relegation battle. And then at one point, did you think the players playing for the shirt or playing for the fans? There's a bit like maybe towards the end of the first half where we started to put some pressure on their defenders and managed to get out on the pitch a bit more. End up getting a free kick on the edge of the box, and then Cresswell fired in a good free kick to draw it back to 2-1. You thought, okay, let's go for it now. But then the second half started, it's the same again. And despite playing in second and third gear, Man City they scored 4 goals. If they were really on it, they could have scored 7 or 8 comfortably, and that wouldn't have been harsh on West Ham. They would have deserved it.
Well, you've got to put it in perspective, haven't you? At the end of the day, I see what you're saying, and as a passionate West Ham fan, you're probably thinking, what the hell? But you're playing the champions. You're playing Man City.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of debate at the moment. Now Wenger's gone, it's now Moyes. Should he stay? Should he go? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, when he first came in, Ryan, I was a bit mixed really, because were we going to get the Moyes that was at Everton for so long, did really well, or was we going to get the one that was at Sunderland last season and was rubbish really? So I was a bit unsure, but we got off to a decent start under him. We played well at Man City, held them off until near the end. We beat Chelsea at home. We drew 0-0 at home to Arsenal. We picked up some decent results along the way, but these last few months we've just been very poor. Like especially on the road, we've conceded so many goals. We've conceded now the most goals in the league, and despite playing 5 at the back in pretty much every game we've played, we are not solid at all. When we see 1 goal, we fold like a pack of cards. It's insane.
I can't stand that tactic, 5 at the back. I mean, that's just pretty much inviting people to attack you, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And no matter whether West Ham play 3, 4, 5 at the back, our defence isn't that great. It hasn't been. I mean, West Ham have never been known for their solid foundations. This is going back in history. We've always been a team that, people talk about the West Ham way, but that's having a go at teams, having flair players, trying to score goals and outscore the opposition, not this safety first approach. And what you said earlier about we were playing City, yeah, we were playing City. They're an amazing team, but you've got to make it hard for them. The players would run towards the opposition and they just stop. There was hardly any challenges whatsoever. It was just so easy for City. When you give quality players time and space, Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan and Sterling, Sane, they're just going to rip you to shreds. That's exactly what happened.
I honestly believe, though, I can understand the frustration. You're 3 points safe at the moment. That's not exactly a big gap, is it?
No, not at all.
But I think Moyes has definitely given you some sort of glimmer of hope since Bilic has gone. You might disagree, but I think he has given West Ham something. Has he been at the club long enough to really hit the ground running?
Well, I think so. We had that bit of new manager bounce when he come in, but since he's been at the club long enough now, and he hasn't given us solidity because we've conceded the most goals in the league. So of course he hasn't, despite playing 5 at the back in most games, we can see so many too often. Like we conceded 4 against City, 4 the week before against Arsenal, 4 at Swansea, 3 at Brighton, 3 at Bournemouth, 3 at home to Burnley, 3 at home to Newcastle. It's never 4 away at Everton when he first took over. It's just so he's not offering anything defensively and attacking wise. I had a look at the table earlier, and we've scored the most amount of goals in the teams in the bottom half. That's where our strength is. We've got Arnautovic, Chicharito, Lanzini, Carroll, Masuaku on the left, Antonio when he's fit. We've got some good attacking players. That a lot of the... You tell me Huddersfield wouldn't have Arnautovic and Lanzini. Come on. That's where our... And it's just this negative football that Moyes has brought. I don't mind it so much against the top teams, but we played Stoke at home a couple of Mondays ago. No, the live Sky game. That we had some real momentum going into that game. We beat Southampton convincingly. Then we got a good draw away at Stamford Bridge. And you thought, right, let's beat Stoke and not secure safety, but go a long way to securing our safety. You play us 5 at the back against Stoke. And I'm not being fine, right?
Tactics all over the place again.
Their best centre forward, Stoke, is Peter Crouch. He's 37 years old. Their best days are behind him. So they don't score a lot of goals. They've got a rubbish defence. Why are we playing 5 at the back? It's 2018. It's not 2008 when Moyes was at Everton.
The best defence is offence, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I do firmly believe in that.
I believe it as well. We've got enough attacking threat to absolutely kill a lot of bottom half teams, certainly, especially Stoke, who we're playing a team in the relegation zone.
That's a similar question that we give to Arsenal. Have West Ham got that killer instinct? They haven't.
Well, no, that's why we've been fighting relegation all season.
But you'd think the position you're at now, and let's be honest, West Ham are a big club. They aren't obviously your Man United, your Arsenals, your Chelseas.
Yeah.
They're definitely not Arsenal.
No, definitely not.
But West Ham have always been a famous club. They've always been, do you know what I mean? They've always been associated, in my opinion, they're kind of like the big club that have never been. And you kind of expect them to. I know they had a few seasons here and there where they have been relegated, but you don't associate them with relegation. Same with Newcastle, in my opinion. You don't associate them with the Championship, do you?
Yeah.
So you'd think that they'd have more fight.
Yeah, there was no fight against City. Like I saw a few players walking. You should never walk on a football pitch with Sunday League level, let alone Premier League level. Absolutely disgraceful it was by some of the players. And it's the same. It's the usual suspects as well. And when Moyes come in after Bitch got sacked, he said, "If you don't run, you don't play." Well, judging by Sunday's game, he's going to have to drop half the team because there was just no effort whatsoever. I don't mind if players put in effort and we lose. That's fair enough. We should lose to City, but you've got to put the effort in.
Here's the question, okay? You do stay up. Moyes keeps you up. Does he keep his job for you?
Well, if you asked me that a few months ago, I wouldn't have minded him staying on. But now, after these last few performances and the capitulations we regularly get under him, I'd say no. Unless he really changes his style of play. I mean, in January earlier this year, he said he wanted West Ham to play like Chelsea and Tottenham. We are playing nowhere near attacking wise. We're playing nowhere near that level. We can't pass the ball to each other. There's no attacking strategy. So we're relying on individual brilliance from Lanzini or Arnautovic, who's been our best player by far this season. But you can't rely on there's no just lumping the ball up the pitch or sticking it in the box waiting for something to happen. There's
old school and there's old school, isn't
there?
there?
It's like, well, we might be playing like Tottenham and Chelsea in the 60s. We're not playing like them in 2018.
Well, I was going to say, I saw Tottenham and Chelsea ladies the other day on the telly, so perhaps you could replicate that a little bit.
Well, our West Ham ladies won the league, so I think a few of them should play in our men's team. Yeah, I wouldn't keep Moyes. we've got to look at other options. But unless he really changes his style of play and buys proper attacking players and stops playing five at the back, but I can't see it.
I find it really hard with Moyes because I must admit, I'm a Moyes fan, and I thought he did a fantastic job for Everton.
Yeah.
I felt like he was set up with Man United. You know, Ferguson knew what he was doing. There was an ego boost there. He was never going to pass the baton straight to Jose Mourinho. It was you know what I mean, or someone like or Guardiola. He was never going to do that. He wanted to show that he was the king. He's passed it on to Moyes. He sunk instantly. If he had more time, he might have been able to. You know what I mean? If he had a few years,
I think that United.
It was a shame, but
I think that United experience has really scarred Moyes.
Absolutely, but then I look at West Ham. Okay, I can see how he's not exactly winning all the fans over at the moment, but I believe he's got what it takes to keep you up. And in the grand scheme of things, he's not had a full season, if you like. He needs next year to sort of give it more time. If by the end of next year you're still fighting relegation, get rid of him. I think he's got more to prove. But
I personally think he's not like Mark Hughes, where he's been appointed recently. He's had the majority of the season, and I think most of the fans have turned against him. I still want, obviously, West Ham to get the results, but in terms of him long term, I'll say, David, thanks for keeping us up. Here's your payoff. See you later. Go take the Scotland job or the Scottish team or whatever. But no, I think he's a bit of a dinosaur now. To be honest, he's not even that old, but it's just his style of play, and he's playing like it's Everton in 2008. Football's moved on a long time since then. Even 5 years ago, when he was appointed at Man United manager, that seems a heck of a long time ago.
Absolutely.
So I say thanks. You know, if we stay up, thanks very much. But see you later. Let's get someone else in fresh and who wants to play attacking football. Because as I said earlier, we've got enough attacking players. But that's West Ham for you. We don't know what's going to happen. But I just want to speak about City quickly. What a team they are. To see them live, watching them on TV is absolutely great. But to see them live they're something else. Every single player, from the front to Ederson, the goalie, they want the ball. They're so comfortable in the ball. They know exactly what their roles are. It's just so fluid, and it's great to watch. And as I mentioned earlier, they played like second, third gear for the whole 90 minutes. They were in cruise control. And if they really wanted to step it up, they could have scored another 3 or 4 goals comfortably.
They're winners, and I would say that's a great example of, as you say, Guardiola being a genius. But then I think, is he a genius? I do question that, because I think he's clearly won the league. He's clearly been successful at Barcelona, but that's put everything in perspective. When he was at Barcelona, he had a great team. I'm sure David Moyes would have been in La Liga with Barcelona. Guardiola, that's why I'm a little bit, unsure about Enrique coming to Arsenal, because I don't know if you can judge someone by managing Barcelona because of the strength and the philosophy of the actual players. But then if you look at what he's done with City, they've got the wealth, they've got the spending power. They're the most. If you look at in the last 5 years, we're looking at the stats today. Man City are top of the table of what they've spent in terms of the transfer market. So is he just a glorified spender?
Well, look, if you're a top team, you've got to spend money to win leagues. Even Blackburn, when they won the league in '95, they bought a load of players. But you've got to buy the right players, Ryan. You look at Man United; they've bought in Lukaku on big money. They broke the world record for Paul Pogba. They've paid huge money on wages to Alexis Sanchez. They've brought all these players in, and yet they play like a team of individuals. Whereas City, they've spent money. They've spent 50 million on Kyle Walker, who's a right back, but they've bought the right players to fit their team structure. Like Walker, Mendy, they needed 2 fullbacks. He brought them in. They needed a goalie, who was a real weakness. Bravo's a real Ever Strone last season. Edison's been great since he's come in. But it's not just the players he's brought in, it's the improvements he's made to individual players. Raheem Sterling, what a player he's turned into. Leroy Sané, even Aguero's improved. Kevin De Bruyne, he's now a world-class player. Even Nicolas Otamendi, who's a bit of an error-prone centre half, he looks pretty solid now. He's in the PFA Team of the Year that was announced recently. So, yeah, Guardiola spent money, but he spent the right money on the right players to fit his team. So I think it's all just down to money. He's a genius.
That is a debate, but I think you've technically won that one.
Thanks very much. Right, well, that was the first game on Sunday. We'll move on now to Man United Arsenal. Wenger's last game at Old Trafford.
Indeed.
So before we get on to the game, Ryan, what do you make of the presentation before the game between Wenger, Ferguson and Mourinho?
I've never been a United fan, but I've got to say that was incredibly classy from them.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, he got an amazing reception. When he walked out, out the dugout, everyone was clapping him. And you just wish that some of the Arsenal fans would be as supportive as that. They have been lately, but you want to see more of it. You want to see more Arsenal fans clapping than Man United, but they were incredible. And then Alex Ferguson was there and gave him a trophy just to sort of celebrate the era. And Jose Mourinho, they all posed for a picture, and it was just incredibly moving. And it takes you back, doesn't it? Like with Alex Ferguson and Wenger, their rivalry was so strong. There's borderline hatred there at one point.
Definitely.
And Ferguson, when he was, let's not forget, the first 7 years or so that he was Man United manager, he wasn't winning trophies. He nearly lost his job, and then he won the FA Cup early 90s, and that saved his career. And then he became, got the class of '92, and the additions came in. And
the rest is history, as they say.
The rest is history, or the rest, they say, is geography. But ultimately, he didn't really have a threat. I mean, you had Blackburn that won the league, and you had Kevin Keegan occasionally. I'd love it if I could beat them.
Right, now do you, Kevin Keegan?
Oh, look, can you see that?
That was like Tony Green from Bullseye, that was.
Exactly. Oh, well, that's my impression.
But I get what you mean.
But Kevin Keegan, Blackburn, they were the sort of people that kind of challenged Ferguson.
But in terms of consistent threat, it wasn't.
But then when Wenger came in, he completely changed the dynamics. Just like this T-shirt, keep getting on my back. It's gone, people. It was getting on my nerves. So Wenger came in, completely turned it around and said, "Look, I'm going to win trophies." And he did. He won the double in '98, and he then had a winning mentality. And that's why they couldn't stand each other, because he knew how to sort of break Ferguson's tactics.
Well, they regularly clashed on the touchline. I miss that about Man United Arsenal games. I don't know about you watching it Sunday, but it just felt a bit flat compared to other.
It's too nicey.
People like players hugging each other before the game. Like, you wouldn't see Keane and Vieira hug each other before the game. They're trying to punch the living daylights out of each other. That was just in the tunnel. So I think it just proves how far Arsenal have fallen away from challenging, and even United.
But then, even at the end, so I think if you look back overall, Ferguson probably won the war. But when Wenger stopped sort of becoming a threat to United, they became friends, and it goes to show the class of the guy and the respect that there is for each other. And it was a fantastic year.
It was nice to see.
So that was nice to see, a fitting tribute to Wenger.
Yeah, definitely. So on to the game. Obviously, Arsenal got the second leg against Atletico Madrid in the Europa League semi-final coming up. So again, it's the league. So Wenger made a load of changes, played a lot of youngsters. So what did you make of how the youngsters played? In most cases, either their debut or their first few league games.
Incredible. I think Maitland-Niles, he is going to be a future star.
Got man of the match, didn't he?
Absolutely. We lost the game when he was,
so well
you don't
played.
always see that.
No.
So you know, we were looking good. The sad thing is our new blood, if you like, was stronger than the experienced players that day.
Yeah.
You know, Mavropanos at the back. I can't even say his name properly. That's how new he is. He looks like he could be a great defender down the line. First 10 minutes, Arsenal were just attacking, you know, pressing at the front, and they looked strong. Even defensively at one point, you know, Rashford nearly scored, and we managed to crack them down.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, it's always typical. You see Arsenal attack, and you think, oh, they're giving it some.
Yeah.
And then they concede a goal. 16th minute, you know, there was a goal there. Pogba. But the problem was, you know, Isaka.
What was he doing?
Well, it was a sliding tackle. You know, why not stay on your feet? He completely messed it up. But the problem is, Bill, this is not the first time he's done this.
No.
He completely makes bad errors like this, which, you know, can cost you the game.
He's meant to be your holding midfielder. And he's sliding. I mean, Graham Souness called it right, schoolboy defending, like sliding for the cameras.
But he can't even hold a pint. Do you know what I mean? But he just gets away with it. And that's the difference between Wenger and Ferguson. Ferguson
And
would
Jose.
have that, and it's just he kind of is given this freedom. You know, if you make a couple of mistakes, get off the pitch.
And Jack was captain that on Sunday, wasn't he, as well? That makes it even more staggering.
And then even worse as well. So Zach, you know, he's made that mistake, not staying on his feet, and then Bellerin wasn't marking really Sanchez. You know, he had the post, the left hand side post. He had the free rein there.
Yeah.
So it goes to show how weak we are at the back. You know, and it's frustrating to see how.
Well, I thought it's typical Arsenal. We say it every time and time again, didn't we?
But apart from that, we did show true team spirit and fight. But it was more the youngsters that were giving it some. And if we play like that against Atletico, you know, we are going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
But no, there's some promising blood there.
Yeah.
And I think that also shows another sort of classy side to Wenger. I know he's naturally resting people for the Europa League, but he is also showcasing his players against a big team like United.
Yeah.
And they did well in the grand scheme of things. And if the new manager, whoever he's going to be, is going to come on board, he was obviously watching that game. And so, but we've got to be realistic. Forget the youngsters for a minute. They were fantastic. Who is he going to keep for Arsenal? I mean, that's been...
Well, I mentioned about West Ham wholesale changes. I mean, Arsenal is possibly even more.
I mean, Cech back in the day was fantastic. I was really, really happy when we signed him, but I think he's got to go. Yeah. I'm still gutted we got rid of Chesney, to be honest. I think he could have been a great player for Arsenal. He had the experience, you know, but yeah, Cech's got to go. Ospina got to go.
What about the defence, Ryan? Who would you keep?
That's a good question. Who would I keep?
Struggling, aren't you?
I think Bellerin could potentially stay, but I don't know.
He needs proper coaching, Bellerin.
He has got the potential.
Going forward,
Monreal's good.
Yeah,
he can be good.
I'd keep Monreal.
Mertesacker's going to retire, but he's at that end of his peak. Koscielny is you know, still you know.
He's not reliable enough because he gets injured far too much.
But Mustafi, he's got to go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've talked about Mustafi, haven't we? Like he's had 2 seasons now. I think that's enough time. He's got to cut your losses, get rid of him.
He's got to go. He's got to go. Yeah, and then in midfield, Xhaka, get rid of him. Wilshere, I like him. But when he's not injured, you know, he goes to show that he can be a team player.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some potential players now in Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang, Lacazette. We just need the new manager that comes in needs to be able to influence them, motivate them, and get, you know, the suppliers at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, going forward, Arsenal have got enough attacking players, but again, we keep saying it, the last 10 years or so, need pretty much a whole new defence and maybe a proper tough tackling midfielder. You know, if they get that, and maybe a new goalie, then they might Well, you like to think they'll do a lot better, but whether they'll invest or not, you're not sure.
You never know. But then you look at the second half, Mkhitaryan looking good. Scored a good goal.
Took his goal well, didn't he?
Absolutely. I'm glad he scored and Sanchez didn't. Hey! But at the same time, you think, this goes to show Jose Mourinho how his tactics paid off in the end.
Yeah.
Bringing on Fellaini, who's probably not the greatest player in the world, but he knows that he's a direct player.
Well, he's effective, isn't he?
He came
other
on.
managers might have just said, "Look, it's near the end of the game. Let's just settle for a draw." But Mourinho's a winner.
But he knew what to do, and then let's be honest. Before he scored, he had the offside goal, and then he scored 2 minutes later in extra time. So, yeah, Mourinho goes to show. I still don't think United are going to win the title anytime soon. I still think they've got a couple of seasons.
They're still relying on too many individual moments. For me, they don't. It's not like City where it's a proper relentless attacking. It's just fits and starts really with United. So, unless Mourinho buys more players in the summer, and possibly maybe get rid of a few as well. But I think as long as Guardiola's in charge of Man City and the investment they're going to keep making, it's going to be hard for anyone.
Do you think Mourinho's going to stay at United for a bit?
Well, it sounds like he wants to stay, but
I can't believe there's a divide now. There's a big divide with Mourinho with United fans. Last year he won the Europa League, the League Cup, Community Shield. So you could say it was a treble.
Oh God, not that again. Yeah,
I remember that. What was all that about when they picked up the trophy?
I don't know, yeah.
But look,
it's a style of play, isn't it? Man United, like going back to Sir Matt Busby, Sir Alex Ferguson, they always, they attack, which they chant during the games. Yeah, but then again, people have got to expect that from Mourinho. He was never going to change his ways, was he?
No.
So. Yeah, his football is effective, but if you're not winning the big trophies, there's only so much you can put on with it, isn't there?
Absolutely. But an entertaining weekend of football.
It was, yeah. Hopefully more of the same this weekend.
Absolutely. So thanks again for watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe and follow us on Twitter.
Thanks very much. See you next time.
All right.